So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make an Android countdown app. Uh, here I'm using IntelliJ IDE. You can also use Android Studio, but I am using IntelliJ IDE. Both are the same, but in IntelliJ IDE you can also work on Java. So create a new project and select Android and select empty activity and create an activity. Name it timer. Use the language Java. I'm using Java, and the minimum SDK I will be using is 7.0, which is Nougat, and finish the terminal and wait for it to set up the program. And here we will be needed two files. One is the image file, the Doctor Strange image file I'm using here, and one is the horn sound. So you can find both of the sound and the image in my website, or you can search just like here. I'm using this one, so you can either search or you can go to my website and get those files. Okay, so building of the project is finished, and first of all we have to locate the image file and the horn file, horn music. So for doing that, go to app src main res driver and copy the image file to this driver v24 and the refactor, and right click res folders and click show in explorer. Open the res folder and create a new folder named raw, or open the folder and copy the horn sound to the raw folder. And here you can see we have the horn sound. So the first step is to build the UI, the user interface. So for that, go to activity.xml, and here first we will drag the image view, and here you can see Dr. Strange is here, and press OK and manage it yourself. Looking good now, and the layout which should be match parent. Okay, now we want the seek bar. Drag and drop the seek bar here. Okay, now we have to set the constraints of the seek bar. So upper constraint, right, left, and the constraint of the image view. Okay, and now what we want is our text view. Okay, so text of the text view for now will be 10.0.0, and the text size will be 60 sp. Here we go. Text color, text color will be white. Okay, now it's look good. Now what we have to do is set the constraints of the text view. So for setting the constraint, go to the XML code. Here the text view, set layout constraint, top to the top of parent, and layout constraint start to the start of parent. Okay, and then layout constraint and to the end of parent. Okay, now it should, we have to adjust it accordingly. So okay, now it looks good, and we have to set the gravity also. So gravity will be center. Okay, looks promising. Now at last we want the button. We have the button and we'll set the constraints, and we also want the layout constant and to match the parent, and start of the constant match to the parent. Okay, so looks good. Now let's run it, check it in our emulator. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, looks promising, looks good. We have the seek bar here, and we have a text view, and we have the button. Okay, looks good. So now we have to set up our backend. So let's go to the backend and on create seek bar goes to find view by id our resources dot id dot the id of the seek bar, which in my case is seek bar. Okay, and the text view will be text view with variable text view goes to find view by id r dot id text view. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to set the seek bar's current progress. So set progress, it will be 30, and the maximum value of the seek bar will be 600, which means 600 seconds, that will be 10 minutes. Now using seek bar dot set on seek bar change listener and new on seek bar change listener, we will get the on progress changed, on start tracking touch, on top tracking touch. So we have to work with on progress change. So here we have to define minute, which will be progress divided by 60, and second in second will be progress minus minute into 60. This will be our second, and when the progress is changed, we want to update our text view. So we want to set the text as first minute, then the divider, and then the second. Okay, now let's check if it's working. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that if I drag the seek bar, the text of the text view changes, so it's working fine. Now what we have to do, we have to add the functionality of the button. So for this, what I have to do is add Onclick method to the button. Onclick, and that will be a method that will create here. So public void button clicked, the parameters will be view, and now here we will pass the button clicked method, and the text of the button will be start Okay, then when we click the button, then what should happen? Countdown should start. So we have a class called countdown timer. As countdown timer goes to new countdown timer. Here we will get on tick and on finish. Means what should happen when the countdown is running, and what should happen when the countdown is finished. So here we will pass the uh, progress that the seek bar is at right now. Means the progress of the seek bar at the current time, we have to pass it here. So for doing this we have to get the progress, and for that we have to make the seek bar as a global variable, so we can use it on the button clicked method. So here we will remove this, and I will remove the final, and we will also we needed the text view, so we will also make it the global variable. Okay, looks promising. And now here I will pass the current progress of the seek bar. So seek bar dot get progress, and it will be multiplied by 1000, because in 1 second there are 1000 millisecond, and the countdown requires its value to be in millisecond, so we will multiply it with 1000, and it will tick after 1 second, means 1000 millisecond. The countdown interval will be 1000 millisecond. Okay, it's promising. Now on tick means after 1 second, what should happen? Okay, for doing this we have to create another method. We will call it public void current seconds, and we'll pass a parameter called seconds, and we will copy the code of the on progress changed from here, Control C and Control V. Here instead of progress we have to pass seconds. Okay, here we have to pass, in here we have to call the method that we have just created and pass progress in it. And now we can call the current seconds here, current seconds, and pass the millis unit finished. Means when after 1 second what will happen, uh, it will be divided by 1000, and means 1 second will be decreased, and because it is a long variable and it requires integer, so we will pass it to integer. Okay, now the error is gone. Now we have to start the countdown. Okay, so looks promising. Now let's run the app, and here you can see, because the timer was at 30 seconds, it is counting down from the 30 seconds. To fix this we can set the text view dot set text as 30 seconds. Now it should work. Okay, Now you can see by pressing the start button the countdown starts. So it's working now. What we have to do, we have when the countdown stops, we want to have a sound, and we want to stop the countdown also, and we also want to disable the timer. So for doing that, what we need to do is we have to call the class button, and on create method we will assign button to the id of the button. Okay, and now what we have to do is add a boolean variable which will be false, and the name of the boolean variable will be counter, and it will be false by default. And in our onClick method, we have to put a conditional statement. If a counter is a true, then do this, else execute the rest of the code. Okay, now when it starts, the text of the button will be stop, and the counter will be true, and we will disable the seek bar. So seek bar set enabled will be false. Okay, and on finish we want to have a sound. For doing this, we have a class called media player. Media player equals to media player dot create, and here we have first we have to pass the context of the application. So get application context, then r dot the folder raw dot the horn sound. Okay, then media player dot start. Okay, now when it finishes, we want to reset the timer, so we will call a method called reset, and then now we will create a reset method here. So public void reset. Okay, so how can we reset the countdown? We can set the seek bar and text view to their default position, check, and we have to put the counter to its default position, check, and we have to set the button text to start, check, and then we have to enable the seek bar. So seek bar dot set enabled will be true. Okay, and at last we have to stop the counter. So for doing this, we have to create a global variable of the counter. So here, and deleting this will do the trick. Okay, now we will use the counter timer and cancel it. Okay, now a reset method is completed, and we'll call it here also, and let's start the program. Okay, now let's count down from 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now it's working. We start and the seek bar is disabled. Okay, now we stop, the seek bar is enabled, and the whole thing is at their default position. Everything is being reset. It's quite a cool app. Hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have any doubt you can comment me, and you can visit the app website that I have mentioned in my description. So there you can find the documentation of this app as well as other cool apps, other cool programs. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.